This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
She gets to cover something really entertaining now. She is Alex Windley. Of course, Bleacher Report, the Heron outlet. Follow her on Twitter like I and many others do who want great insight on Inter Miami at AAW underscore 1998. Alex, good afternoon. And boy, was that entertaining on Saturday night. That was fun.
Thanks for having me on, Orlando. That the game was crazy. I don't think anyone expected that result, but Miami are showing that they've got something up their sleeve, and that off season that they had, they've been working hard. So, and that's pretty much the fruits of their labor.
And what I love was the attacking style. It was a game that they were aggressive the entire time. They pressured Philadelphia many times. Moda hits the post and everything. Although, let me give you something funny, okay? And you and I have talked about this over the last couple of years. Pizarro has a terrible habit of holding on to the damn ball too long, right? And he played a good game. In fact, that one where Moda hit the post, that was an assist from Pizarro, and it was a beautiful play. But the one that Moda scored on was actually him holding on to the ball too long, trying to weave through multiple people, and it ended up becoming a turnover that led to Moda. The ball fell to him, and sure enough, he was able to knock it in. But it's kind of funny that one of his bad habits kind of reared its ugly head for one moment, but it still kind of paid off for Miami. I was laughing my ass off when I saw that.
Yeah, actually, I believe that was Coco Jean that scored the goal. I know John Mata did.
Sean, I'm sorry, not Moda. Sean, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
Jean
yes.
Mata did hit the post like later in the game with a really good shot, but it was Quarantine John that got that first goal. But yeah, you're right about Jean Mata. He does have that habit, but for defenders, it makes him kind of unpredictable because you don't know if he's going to shoot from 30 yards out or pass the ball. So they don't know how to defend him, and that opens up space for other guys. But yeah, Miami, they're impressive. Pizarro, I believe him and John Mata and Phil Neville, they made team of the week, and yeah,
Yeah,
they're just charging on right now.
Yeah. Pizarro looks good, actually. I mess around and have some fun with him that he held the ball too long in that moment there, trying to weave. He gets in trouble when he thinks he can weave between two and three guys. That usually happens, right? But he has played well, and the team has played well. And Drake Callender, Jesus, Alex, I mean, wow, they have found themselves and this all comes from an injury. The injury opened the door for him, and that kid has never looked back, and he was outstanding again on Saturday night.
Yeah, 100%. Drake is a great guy, great to talk to, very smart with soccer. He loves watching the game, and he's very tranquilo, and he meditates, and he's very grounded, and yeah, just a smart guy to have at the back. And there are he's national team material. Honestly, I believe from a colleague, he was close to a U.S. men's national team call up in their last camp, but they decided to go with another guy. So Drake is really on that cusp right there, and they signed him to a contract extension. So he's their goalkeeper for the foreseeable future for Miami. And it's good they locked him down. He's only, 24, 25 years old. So, and goalkeepers nowadays, they play till 40. So Miami may have very well gotten their franchise goalkeeper for the rest, for the foreseeable future for at least 5 years. So great player.
Did you see this chemistry this early in the preseason when you were watching them practice? Did you see them play as well as they've played so far in these first couple weeks?
Yeah, the vibes were there for sure. I think I know I don't want to drag Higuain, but like guys like that, like Higuain had this aura and this presence, right? And he's that guy that demands attention, right? And so when you take a guy like that out of the team becomes more, not saying that Gonzalo was a menace or anything, but on the field they become far more together, I would say. So they don't have to defer to him nearly as much as they did last season, like with Pozuelo, Higuain. Teams knew how to game plan against that. If they took out Gonzalo and Alejandro out of the game, they knew Inter Miami couldn't score. But this season, they don't know who to press. They don't know if it's Joseph or Stefanelli or even Franco Negri, who's shown that he's able to get up into the attack and have some shots. Jean Mata, Gregory. they don't know who to guard to guard defend anymore. So Miami play much more of as like a team, and it's less on individuals now and more of a cohesive unit. So yeah, I think watching the game against Philadelphia, it shows that they're playing as a team. They can play a different style now. Without Gonzalo, he maybe didn't press as much, but with Joseph Campana back, Jake LaCava, Robbie Robinson, Schneider Borgelin, guys like that, they're more mobile and they can play more physical soccer. And I think Neville is kind of taking that opportunity and implementing a different style.
Yeah, and to me, when we look at Campana is still what's going on with Campana, because that's kind of been his bugaboo, man. It's been injuries, and here he is again, and this is one of their guys that you were counting on to be one of your main goal scorers. What's the latest with Leo?
Yeah, so this Thursday actually we're speaking with Phil Neville, so we'll get an update on that. But last week they did say they're hopeful that it's not as bad as it seems. So hopefully it's not too of a injury that keeps him out for long. He's a big guy and you don't want to rush him back from a muscle injury. So this weekend we'll have an update on Leo and see if he can go against New York City on Saturday.
Have you given up on Robbie?
No, I think he's a player that you need to be cautious with. We know he can score and has that talent. It's just mentality for him and trusting his body again. He came, injured himself, and naturally you're going to be scared of re-injuring, that same part and your hamstring. So I think with Robbie, it's just he needs to mentally get back into it and trust his body and trust his ability. But his ability is still there. And speaking of Neville, Neville is high on him still. They want him to succeed, and obviously, if he doesn't, it's professional sports. Obviously, they'll move on, but Robbie's still up there. Neville mentioned him the other day, and Robbie just needs to trust his body and his mentality.
And we're talking with Alex Windley, of course. You can catch her work, by the way. Follow her on Twitter at AAW_1998. You can catch her work at Bleacher Report and also the Heron Outlet. You should subscribe to the podcast. They do a good job talking Inter Miami. And, listen, any win is a good win. So you start off the season beating Montreal. That's a good win. And you follow the league a lot more than I do. You know more about the MLS than I do. I follow heavy Inter Miami. The league, I kind of follow it casually. But from what I understood, Montreal wasn't really as good this year, and they lost some firepower. But this week, beating Philadelphia, who has been one of the elite teams of this league the last couple of years, I don't, again, I know that this is one of those sports that's really followed by the hardcore soccer fan like you and me, not the general fan. I don't think people really understand what a big win that was for Miami against Philadelphia.
Yeah, absolutely huge. Speaking with Jim Curtin after the match, he said, "Kudos to Miami. They basically had their lunch for the entire game, and they pounced very quickly. They were pressing them, not really letting them get into their game plan, and Miami played well, and it was a statement win. And defending Eastern Conference champions in Philadelphia, and yeah, they absolutely, I wouldn't say dominate, but they were the better team most of the game, and now the national media and maybe even local media, they're starting to take starting to believe and take part into and just believe in this Inter Miami project and them and Phil Neville and the
They're not on the bandwagon yet, Alex.
You don't
They're
think
not
so?
the local media, nah. You, me, Michelle, Franco, but the regular media, they're not on it yet.
Yeah, the disappointing thing is that they'll give coverage to Inter Miami once, if when they sign Messi and Busquets, which is unfortunate because the team's playing well now and they deserve coverage now. And yeah, let's
Neville's
just see how it goes.
Neville
Yeah.
and Henderson, Jesus Christ. I don't think people realize the amount of players that they've brought in, the turnover that Henderson put in. And then I thought what Neville did last year with 19 players and the adjustment as the season went on, they got better and better and better. And then this year, it's only been progress since Neville took over. You think about it, from 2 years ago, the mess he inherited, and then, the whole Higuain thing and how he had to break that down, and he was able to reach Higuain. So he has shown us that he reaches older players, younger players, and his style remember Alex, he got a lot of shit because, oh, he's a women's coach. Like the game is played any different
Yeah.
with females or males. It's the same goddamn game. But you know it. He got, oh, well, he's never coached men. And it's all this crap. And if you really look at the trajectory from the moment he took over to where he's at now, it's just been like this the entire time. Really,
Yeah,
it's a marvelous job.
kudos
Really.
to him. I know he got a lot of flack when he was appointed from MLS media, and still they're giving him flack. But Neville, he's a man manager, and his tactics have improved, and he's shown he's able to get the best out of maybe squads that aren't up to par. And you have to give him kudos for that. And with the way Inter Miami's playing now, they look very good, and people have them going up the power rankings as well. So kudos to Neville and Chris Henderson for just revamping the team and bringing in fresh blood to get the team really going now.
So you're convinced too that Messi's coming, right?
Yeah, there are a bunch of MLS sources they're saying it. I know the European media that for some inexplicable reason they refuse to even mention MLS or Inter Miami. I know Mike Ryan Ruiz from the Dan Lebitard show has been on it for the entire time. He's stuck with his reporting about Inter Miami and PSG are the two teams. Basically vying for Messi's signature right now. And yeah, I think there is a plausibility. Yeah, and there's no coincidence that they left the number 10 open. They have an open DP spot. Obviously, Miami are interested. Phil Neville even said it in an interview a couple of days ago. Messi and Busquets, they are interested in the both of them. So, yeah, it remains to be seen if they can get them. But it is definitely plausible.
Well, see, the reason why I think it's going to happen, and Alex, you know about this more than I do. I think it's really odd he doesn't have a contract already.
Mm. Yeah,
To
I
me,
think.
it's the strangest thing in the world that the best player in the world, coming off the World Cup that he just put together for Argentina, and you would figure that there's 8 clubs lined up to give him money, and they are. And even that Arab club was, the one that's the rival to Cristiano Ronaldo's team. They offered him a boatload of money, and he's not going. To me, I think he's getting that Beckham treatment. He's going to get an expansion team. He's probably some big time sponsors are stepping up, and then obviously the Moss brothers are going to have to give him, a nice little salary. But as you and I know, the expansion teams are worth $500 million. So
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
going to hand them $500 million and probably at a discount rate, whether it's zero or 20, 50 million, $100 million. You're not going to charge them a lot like you did with, I think Beckham paid 25 million for a club that was 125 in those days. Now expansion's 500 million. So you're basically giving him 500 million. I think that's what's going to end up happening. He plays a couple years and then he moves up to an ownership group with one of those, 5, 6 cities that are next up in getting expansion over the next few years.
I 100% agree. Even Commissioner Don Garber even said as much that it's going to take a Beckham-like deal to bring him over, and the fact that they're even talking about Messi to MLS shows that they've been in conversations, and the league wants this to happen. They want a big star to kind of kick off this Apple TV deal to get more subscribers, and who's bigger than Lionel Messi right now? So yeah, the
No
league
one.
is obviously going to be on it for Miami. I know a lot of the fans of other teams, they want it to happen because it's only going to help and grow the league. And obviously on the field standpoint, obviously Messi will help the team if they're looking to push for MLS Cup or silverware this season. But yeah, Messi, it'll like you were mentioning earlier, and the Dan Marinos, the Dwayne Wades, the Shaqs. I think, yeah, Messi
Not,
signing it would blow them out of the water. No disrespect, but it would be
not even
huge.
close. It's not even close. Okay? It won't even be close. South Florida fans don't understand, the ones that don't follow, they will not understand the craziness that will take place if that guy comes here. And by the way, mark my prediction. They will build temporary stands in each of the corners of that stadium. Guaranteed. The Moss brothers will come up with a couple extra thousand seats. And as Michelle Kaufman on Earth they're not selling any season tickets for the second half of the season.
Yep.
They're locked out. So, you know, they're not stupid. They're set up. I told my buddy a couple weeks ago, I said, dude, you need to go buy, because he's got like lots of money.
Yeah.
He's not like you and me that are working stiffs, but he's got lots of money. And I said, brother, you waste money on all kinds of stuff. I'm you. I go buy 10 pairs of tickets for Inter Miami. He goes, why the hell would I do that? I go, because Messi's coming, and you're going to be able to sell the second half of the season for 10 times over, because there are going to be people all over the world coming here to go see an Inter game, because that's, you know how they do it in the NFL, right? That like teams that go to Vegas to go play the Raiders.
Mm.
You know, if you're a Giants fan or a Dolphins fan or a Packers fan, you'll make it a trip. You'll go to Vegas for a couple days, watch your team. All like that's what's going to happen here in Miami. People are going to want to come from all over the country, all over the world, to come see the greatest player on the planet.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, I was actually talking with Michelle the other day. I was wondering, Drive Pink Stadium is so open, and sometimes the security is there, but it's a very open property. I'm how are they gonna like the players do this ritual will they'll walk from the training center to the stadium. I don't know how they're gonna just kind of wrap around that. The amount of people that are gonna flock to Fort Lauderdale, and even Melreese. A quick aside here, Melreese, that golf course, it's going to be closed on the 19th of March. So hopefully after that they'll start construction on Miami Freedom Park. But yeah, it is just gonna be mayhem, and yeah, just it'll. I can't even wrap my head around it, but it'll be great for the league.
And by the way, he built this. The Moss brothers, not he. The Moss brothers built that stadium in 8 months.
Yeah.
If Messi comes, they will speed up Miami Freedom Park. I mean,
Light speed.
They're going to put turbo on it. And the good thing is, you know how it is. Private construction compared to public construction can, happen really, really quickly. If it goes for public, it takes forever, but they'll be able to. So you're convinced too that it's going to happen. It's going to be a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Great for the league, though.
All right, give us a preview. NYCFC. This week they've played, Miami played their 2 first games at home. NYCFC played their 2 first games on the road, and they didn't win. They tied one and lost one. So talk to us a little bit about what you know about NYCFC and what issues can they give Miami.
Yeah, so for one, NYCFC, they're still a good team. They've got a lot of good players. Talis Magno, Santi Rodriguez, they've just re-signed him to a DP contract. Ex-Miami player Matthias Pellegrini is there playing as the number 10. So they still have a lot of good attacking talent. But my worry is for Inter Miami is their field. NYCFC, they play on the baseball field. It's small. The grass is the grass is not as good, and the field dimensions are not it's not cool to play on. So that's my biggest worry, is that Miami won't be able to adapt to that, and NYCFC, they're used to playing on that, so it doesn't really matter for them. So I think that's the biggest concern, Miami adapting to that small field and the sight lines and the grass, and that's the biggest concern. But as far as the play goes, NYCFC, they haven't been playing well. They don't have an out and out number 9 to focus on. So they've been playing Talis Magno, a winger, as the central striker, and that hasn't been working out for them. And they lost one, and they drew another game. So obviously they're going to come back home looking for a win, and Miami are going to try to get their 3rd straight win and keep the clean sheet. And NYCFC, they're not in a good spot right now, so Miami have a really good opportunity to get that. And then their next game is on the road at Toronto, so I know they're gonna be a difficult game as well. So NYCFC still dangerous. Their field will be difficult to play on, but Miami have been playing very well, and Neville has them believing. So I'm hopeful that they'll be able to get some result up there.
Talk to me about the defense. We know Callender has played exceptional, but the combination in front of him has actually also been pretty damn good.
Yep, Sergei Kristov, Christopher McVeigh, Franco Negri, DeAndre Yedlin. They're those 4 are locked in, and they've been playing phenomenally. It's night and day compared to last season. And I know when Damian Lowe was traded, everyone was
fouls are gone, Alex.
Yeah.
Ridiculous fouls that we had to deal with for a couple of years. Like it almost like you were almost selling me the bullshit. Like well, you got to play physical, and fouls are going to be a part of it. And then I'm watching these guys, and they're not committing a whole bunch of dumb fouls.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you get a Champions League experienced center back who has that calmness and composure. Sergei Kristoff. He's talked about his partnership with McVay and how they're both from Europe, so they understand that style and how to just calm everything down and just keep that clean sheet. And they're just great partners, and they're calm passing out of the back. And I was mentioning the Damian Lowe trade, and Damian Lillard was really beloved and he loved being here, but and he's a great defender and a great player, but sometimes his play style maybe didn't fit with what Miami wanted to do this year, which is play at the back, be calm, have that composure. Damian Lillard is a great defender and he fits what Philly is doing much more than what Inter Miami is doing. So yeah, it was a necessary trade, and now you see with Sergey coming in and even Schneider Borgelin. I mentioned Borgelin because in that Damian Lowe trade, Miami received the homegrown rights to Borgelin, and it came full circle when Borgelin scored that second goal against Montreal. And yeah, it's just Chris Anderson being smart and knowing his contacts around MLS and the cap room situation with Miami right now. And by the way, next year
By the way, the Argentine dudes from a couple of years ago were driving my ass crazy too back
Oh
there.
yeah, Carranza or Pellegrini or Figal, I believe, and LGP. LGP and Figal. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God,
Yeah.
those two driving my ass crazy, man. They would put the team at risk because they would pick up fouls early, and then that would take away from their aggressiveness. Or sometimes they would make the mistake and then pick up the red card, and then now you're down a man. And oh man, it's such a smarter, cleaner, more entertaining team. It's really, I mean, when I turned off that game on Saturday, I just had a big old smile on my face because it was just fun to watch.
Yeah, it was fun. And Miami, they haven't played fun soccer in their
No,
history, so it's a welcome change for sure.
yeah, big time. I haven't seen this kind of soccer since Ray Hudson and the Fusion, practically when you were a baby.
Yeah,
Or
literally.
how old are you?
24.
Yeah. Yeah, you were an infant actually while it was
Yeah.
going on, but that was entertaining. That was the last time right there. And on Saturday, I just had a big old smile. I know Ray Hudson probably had a big old smile on his face being able to watch that. So it's good stuff. Alex, what are you working on over at the Heron Outlet and Bleacher Report covering Inter Miami?
Yeah, so we've got a big week coming up. We have our Know Your Opponent series coming out too with a NYCFC journalist. So be on the lookout for that. Thursdays we do our Inter Miami news and notes where we get you prepped for the weekend game. And yeah, a couple of things going on in the background that we'll be premiering this week too. So stay tuned.
There you go. Good stuff. Alex, as always, thank you for taking some time and giving us some great insight. Really appreciate it as always.
Thanks for having me on, Orlando.
It's always my pleasure. Alex Windley, great stuff. Follow her if you're an Inter Miami fan. Great insight. She's always at the games, breaking it down. She just does a really, really good job. And follow her on Twitter at AAW_1998. Excellent follow, Alex Windley there. I like it. All right.
This is the Big O Show.